Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I recently conducted a series of polls on my channel analyzing various mechanics of the game of Path of Exile, of course. Now, one thing I did not want to do was talk about 5 particular mechanics. There are 5 mechanics in the game that either should be removed or should not be removed. The mechanics that should never be removed, of course, are Essences, Val, Ambush, which is strong boxes. Those should just, needless to say, be implemented into core. However, they are mechanics. They are technically league mechanics. Even Ambush, there was actually a league called Strongbox League way back 1 point something before I ever started. That was actually a league. They said, hey, we're introducing strong boxes in the game. And it was a massive celebration, and everyone thought, my goodness, what a wonderful addition to the game. But in modern times, we have Rogue Exiles and Tormented Spirits. Those 2 mechanics are going to eventually be removed. It's inevitable. Rogue Exiles, Tormented Spirits, going to be removed. Essences, mandatory for crafting. Val, mandatory for corruptions. Ambush, mandatory just because it's part of the game. No one could imagine it being taken out of the game. So, what I wanted to do instead was conduct 4 polls and then have the winners of those polls fight head-to-head. And that was the plan. And so the first poll here was Breach, Legion, Delirium, and Abyss. I was very specific not to be specific in regards to whether it was just the mechanic, like hitting the mirror and then running the Delirium, or whether it was also removing all of the league-specific drops. For example, Delirium introduced Cluster Jewels. 3.10 was a wonderful time. That was actually the first league that I got good. I got good in 3.10. And it was a fantastic league. That was the first time that I actually was able to get past tier 16s. Prior to that, I would hit tier 16s, run a few tier 16s. That was it. That was my league. After this, I was able to actually run in-game content and really optimize my builds. 3.10 was a lot of fun. 3.10 introduced Cluster Jewels. Tremendous customization opportunities. Abyss, of course, introduced Stygian Vices, Abyss Jewels, and so on. Legion introduced the 5-way run, which is great for leveling. It introduced all kind of great uniques. Breach, of course, added the, Breach Lords. And so these were all great mechanics, but it went exactly as I expected. I expected Delirium to take the lead, and I expected Legion to get second place. This went as planned. My second poll looked at Harvest, Expedition, Harbingers, and Heist. I knew Harbingers would get last place. It actually barely got last place, as it turned out. Heist, popular among a niche community. I enjoy Heist on occasion. I skipped at this league. There's some leagues I skip it entirely. There's some leagues that I really go into Heist and really attempt Heist. Heist added replica uniques. Heist added alternate quality gems with regrading lenses, which was huge. So I respect Heist. Heist, of course, got third place. I knew Harvest and Expedition would get first and second. I wasn't entirely sure which would get first. This went relatively as expected because Expedition, a lot of people like the re-rolling Gwenins, the 2-gen re-rolls. People like it. People like running logbooks. I knew it would be popular. Harvest used to be even more popular. You could really get some amazing craft opportunity. They've nerfed it over and over again, so it lost some popularity. But the original Harvest mechanic where you actually planted the seeds, I was never a big fan of. It allowed for incredible crafting, but I just didn't like the league. They changed it, it got better, and then they got worse, and then it got worse. So Harvest is still popular. It still has value, of course. Kind of went as planned. Part 3 was very interesting. I actually had a chance. I was slow at work. I was not busy at work, so I was actually watching the beginning of the results. And Beyond and Scourge took the lead very quickly, and I was shocked. I was very surprised. Even though I know Tainted Currency is popular, I know Beyond is fairly popular. I was surprised it took first place. Of course, over time, Bestiary crept in and took the lead. I don't know if people just wanted to respect their boy Einhar, or if it was a little bit more related to beast crafting. I think most of it's beast crafting, of course. Add prefix, remove a suffix, reroll Awaken Gems nowadays, reroll Watcher's Eye modifier. Bestiary is very good. Bestiary took the lead, despite myself being a big fan of incursions. Metamorph took last place. I kind of expected that, even though catalysts are very important. They could be implemented elsewhere. Again, I never specified whether it would remove all of the additions to the league, or if it would just be a situation where you would only remove the actual play mechanics. Part 4 was where I clumped up a bunch of very popular mechanics. This one took me by surprise. I know Syndicate's very important and very helpful for the Unveil mods for crafting, but I know the leaderboard, the actual board of the Syndicate, is not super popular. It's kind of confusing. I actually skipped Syndicate League when it came out. Had to learn it later. I thought Delve would get first and Ritual would get second. I thought Syndicate would get third and Blight would get fourth, despite its popularity. In fact, Blight and Ritual tied. Both very popular, certainly. Oil's very important for anointing amulets. Ritual's very popular for getting good loot drops. Delve has fossils and resonators and is its own unique side mechanic. It did get second place. I thought it would get first place. I really did. I thought Ritual would get second. It turned out that actually Syndicate's more popular than I realized, so that was very interesting. So I took all the winners of the prior polls, I put them head-to-head in Part 5. Delirium, it did end up taking the lead over Expedition, but pretty narrowly. Expedition's still very popular. Syndicate, as you can see, got third place, despite Unveil being so popular, and poor Einhar got fourth place. What's fascinating about these results, I think I've seen them somewhere else. I'm pretty darn sure I've seen this before.